guys, we're back with another one. Some more crazy conspiracy theory TikTok roulette. Gotta love it.
Everything We Know Is a Lie, part 10,302. The real New Year's isn't.
This is all alleged and for education and entertainment purposes only. This is some pretty heavy stuff.
Oh boy.
Have you done any research on now it's up to 13 different scientists connected to NASA that have disappeared or turned up unalived?
Oh yes, I know about it.
Do you know like any of the connections about what they allegedly were talking about?
They were, what's that show with the guy who's got the little gerbil?
Well, I've never seen the show. Is it Ancient Aliens? Is that the one?
That's what it's called. It's something like that, or it's, they talk about conspiracies.
Like a large number of the people on that show have turned up either missing or unalive.
Jeez.
One of the NASA scientists, her name was Amy Eskridge. She was in charge of anti-gravity and like researching anti-gravity. And she actually created her own private institute so she could dive even deeper into Institute of Exotic Science. So all of the things that are like beyond the norm of what we're taught of what is what is to be.
Right.
David Wilcock, who was on that show, his co-author to his book was unalived or found 2 days before he was unalived. So it was on the news. We don't watch the news, but it was on the news where now I guess the White House, Congress, they're saying, this is so weird. We need to start researching more. Wink, wink. And you're like, Are you just saying that because so many people are talking about it? What is the connection? A lot of these scientists are from all different areas. It's not just like one specific spot. Amy Eskridge is from Huntsville, Alabama. The 13th scientist, I think he was out of Vegas. His Tesla just allegedly. This is scary in the sense where, first of all, you're wondering, what was the connection between all of these people? Is there a connection? Did they uncover something where they were like, whoa. The powers that be were like, no, we can't have that getting out.
Right.
David Wilcock, a few days before he showed up unalived, like was talking about once you find out, like, I love my life. I'm blessed to be here. He plans on living. This is what happens when you prove that God is real. The connections of all of these different people, were they all involved in researching the same type of things, the anti-gravity, the extraterrestrial stuff? Weird that show, so many of those people.
Whistleblowers?
To me, it allegedly seems like they couldn't shut it up. So they had to do something, allegedly. So they had to do a complete wash of what these people were finding. This is all alleged and for education and entertainment purposes only.
Everything We Know Is a Lie, part 10,302. The real New Year's isn't January 1st. It is actually allegedly, TikTok, allegedly, an energy harvesting and a celebration that pays homage to the ancient Roman god Janus. Before we get into it, guys, make sure y'all follow my YouTube. I'm going to link it above just in case TikTok actually gets banned. I'm about to blow your mind. If you haven't heard it, my daughter's playing on her little toy. Don't mind her. If you haven't heard about this, don't feel bad because I'm just finding this out today. Janus is the god of gates, beginnings and ending, transitions and time. And it even says in the Bible that the beginning of the year is not January, somewhere between March and April. As you can see right here from another creator, as you can see from the screenshot from another creator, you can look at the bottom left to go look at his video if you'd like. Just think about it. Thousands upon thousands of people fled to New York City in Times Square to watch this ball drop. And millions of people around America are celebrating this new year. On said new year, they are using their energy to make New Year's resolutions. Y'all know that biblically, we are supposed to have discipline every single day. And that lack of discipline is exactly why our resolutions usually last about 3 business days. We still have a fupa and we still munch on snacks in the middle of the night scrolling TikTok until 5 in the morning. Am I right? Okay. With that being said, energy is literally being harvested harvested all around America for this day that literally actually isn't even the first day of the year. Just think about it. Nature literally tells us, why would the first day of the year not be in spring when everything is made new, but would rather be in winter when everything is cold and dead? And don't y'all find it funny that Janus has one head looking in the past and one head looking in the future? And when the ball drops, the fireworks go up and the ball goes down. And also, not for nothing, isn't Janus the god, quote unquote, of gates? Didn't the Pope just open up a door or portal or gate that people believe directly links to the spiritual realm? If y'all want me to get into that, I can definitely make a video on it because it's crazy. I'm starting to understand why the Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate all these holidays, because it's literally rooted and things that are not of God. Not to mention, I'm just now finding out that they're supposed to be 13 months, not 12. And just to bring in a touch of conspiracy into this is all alleged TikTok, it's satire, it's a hoax, none of this is true. What about all the spikes and unalivings and car crashes and drunkenness that happens on New Year's Day? On top of them harvesting our energy, so many people are actually creating bridges between the spiritual realm and our realm by not being of sober mind and getting completely wasted and making the worst decisions of their life on this day. Y'all, we have got to open our eyes. In 2025, I'm questioning everything. As always, make sure you guys like and follow and comment down below what you think.
That one was a little old. I wonder why it was 25. But yeah, we don't celebrate holidays in our household like that. We know that Christmas is definitely not Yahusha's birthday. Um, and we've learned that every single holiday has some root in a pagan tradition, so we don't do it. I'm actually trying to put together like a book of when we're supposed to actually have feasts and things like that, and do our own thing separate, just to show praise to Yahuwah.
Okay, so you know how they say that the past, present, and future is all existing simultaneously? The way that we perceive time in chronological order linearly is not the way that time actually moves if the past, present, and future are all existing simultaneously. Everything in the universe starts with the Fibonacci sequence. The universe is literally composed of mathematical equations. Every single thing grows in this pattern. It's a hurricane, a galaxy, an ammonite, a succulent, an acorn. You can even see this in any fetus. Galaxies are formed this way. Like, the list goes on, you get it. When you see the Fibonacci sequence in 3 dimensions, you see it in these staircases or in a tornado. So for those that believe this block theory that time is not happening linearly, that all time is happening simultaneously, and time is happening in the 4th dimension, stay with me. What if time is happening in the Fibonacci sequence? Like, if you take a look at this staircase, every single person on this staircase, no matter what point they're at on the staircase, they can see each other. Another one made of glass, just to make you get the idea better. I know that this might be hard to grasp, but I feel like I'm onto something here. If everything starts and grows in this pattern, what if this is the energetic architecture of the path of our lives, the growth of our lives, and the way that time moves? In 2016, when I first opened my third eye, I had this vision of the Fibonacci sequence unwinded like this in the 3 dimension, and I saw a man go through his entire life in the Fibonacci sequence. But the bottom was the widest point and the top was the smallest point. He started his life at the bottom, at the opening, and as he went up to death and enlightenment, he got to the top. As that path narrows, though, there's less and less room. Like, pretend you're in a tunnel and you have less room for things that are unimportant. So I was watching this man go through this cycle of his life where all of these things that he thought were important no longer became important the closer that he got to death. There is something about the Fibonacci sequence that is so sacred that my brain is trying so hard to understand, because I am always getting these downloads about the Fibonacci sequence and I cannot quite put my finger on what the fuck it is. But the other day, get this download. Time moves in the Fibonacci sequence. That is how you can see all time happening simultaneously, because no matter what point you are at in the Fibonacci sequence, whether it is unwound in the 3D or it is in 2 dimensions, you would be able to see at any given point in time. Does that make sense? Or do I just sound crazy? Okay, so you know,
I think that's a pretty cool theory she has there, because I always get stuck thinking about the Fibonacci sequence, fractals, and toroids. and it's like there's like a puzzle piece that's missing.
So you've probably seen the dead scientist headlines, but nobody's really covering what the dead scientist story actually is. A conspiracy theory that got a federal investigation. Here's how that whole list got built. So a retired Air Force general goes missing, leaves his phone, leaves his glasses at home, genuinely weird circumstances. But then the internet did what the internet does. It goes hunting. And then suddenly anyone who ever worked near aerospace or nuclear research and died within 4 years was a data point. And when you go looking for dots to connect, you will always find them. That's how conspiracy theories work. So who's the latest addition to this official list of assassinated government scientists? I'm glad you asked. A 34-year-old woman in Huntsville, Alabama, who was researching anti-gravity technology based on a theory that physicists stopped taking seriously over 100 years ago. She wasn't embedded in some classified program. She wasn't even a defense contractor. She ran a small private institute with her retired NASA dad called, now, wait for it, the Institute for Exotic Science. And I know what you're thinking. What the fuck is exotic science? Brother, I asked the same thing. We're talking about things like anti-gravity devices, ether theory, gravity modification. This is the equivalent of flat earth science. There's a foundation in Germany that has offered 1 million euros to anybody who can demonstrate a working anti-gravity effect and reproducible experiment. Nobody has collected that check. But Congress is out here treating her death as a potential act of foreign espionage.
China, North Korea, Iran, Russia, they're all, on the suspect list, but there are a lot of, Eastern European countries and other countries that could be involved as well, or it could be a coincidence.
A former FBI agent went on record saying each case has a straightforward individual explanation. A violent neighbor, a jealous classmate, medical conditions that families confirm themselves. Those families have been publicly asking people to leave their loved ones out of this.
I just know he is rolling in his grave, knowing that his name is going around being involved in something like this.
And a journalist who tracks conspiracy theories called it family trauma being monetized for clicks. When the people closest to the victims are telling you there's nothing there, that's the receipt. So why is Keystone Cash Patel promising arrests on Fox News? Why is James Comer calling this a national security threat while doing nothing about actual oversight? Remember, these are the same people who launder election conspiracy theories. Reason why is because the investigation isn't separate from the conspiracy theory. The investigation is the conspiracy theory doing exactly what it was supposed to do: generate headlines, eat the news cycle, and make sure that you're not looking at something else. So you've probably seen the dead scientist headline.
I have a theory of where consciousness is stored in the body. This one is a little...
What if everything we thought we knew about flat Earth was only a fraction of the truth? 1/4 of the truth, to be exact. First, have you seen the moon map projection where they take the moon and map out the dark spots on it, and they'll show that 1/4 is our known Earth, our known flat Earth model. Now, we've all seen the clock in Prague, but I want to point something out. You notice the constellation ring here, and the sun and the moon are actually connected right here in the center, showing that the sun and moon go around this constellation wheel. And some say that this constellation wheel might slowly but surely, over maybe thousands of years, move around this bigger circle. Now here's where it gets really interesting. If that's the case, and the sun's trajectory is warming this land, but then also moving through 4/4, right? Then that would mean that this area of ice would be melting and the rest would be freezing. So when I ask Google where Antarctica's ice caps are melting, it's the western area of Antarctica. When I ask where they are constantly freezing, they said the eastern region. Where is the eastern region? everywhere else in Antarctica. Believe it or not, this is how Antarctica is divided. So where is this western region on the flat Earth map? Well, let's just say if this were moving around in a circle, this little part would be the one melting and the rest would be freezing. So then I was looking at the Mercator map, and none of these regions look familiar. But it is weird how they all are in 4 quarters. A clock is sectioned in 4 quarters. Several cosmological and mythological systems portray 4 corners or 4 quarters. In the book of Enoch, he talks about the 4 quarters. And several verses talk about the 4 quarters. Then you look at the definition of quarter, and one is each 4 equal or corresponding parts into which something is or can be divided, right? Then another definition is the place in which you can dwell, a specific place. Here's what's nuts though. So this is a quarter, as in 1/4 of the whole area, but then it's also a quarter, the place in which we can dwell. What? So with this generalized idea, what else does it explain? Well, it explains lands beyond the ice wall, extra lands. Maybe not this or this, but maybe it's this they're trying to deflect us from. Also, global warming. A lot of people want you to think that the world is getting sicker, and then you've got your conspiracy guys who say it's just a big old money grab, global warming. But what if it's just the natural cycle of our reality? Every so 1,000 years, this moves into another quarter, causing an ice age? Yeah, it would explain ice ages. Because, I mean, if we're being real, there have been some pretty neat discoveries made of animals in ice, undigested food in their stomachs. It would kind of explain mud floods. Hey, they found old world pyramids and buildings in ice. It seems we're always given partial truths on things. Now, I'm not saying that this theory is one that I believe or disbelieve, but it's interesting nonetheless. Look into it. What if everything we thought we knew...
So let me get this straight. Trump is expanding the New World Order, the Jews have officially predicted when their Messiah will be coming, and science just discovered livable land in Antarctica, proving Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump to be true. So the Lord has actually given me dreams since last year that Greenland was only the beginning of Trump's New World Order plans. So now not only has Venezuela been targeted and under American management officially, but Cuba is also on the brink of falling apart, and Iran is now the center of Trump's targets. There's a very interesting theory out there right now that Venezuela and Iran are one of the only remaining countries that are not backed by a Rothschild banking system. So for America to be monopolizing on that and kind of doing Israel's deeds for them, you know, it kind of seems a little fishy. Not only this, but for the first time in over 5 decades, the United States Doomsday plane landed in Los Angeles International Airport. So make of that what you will. Now, a Jewish rabbi is predicting that the rise of their Messiah is dependent on the fall of Christianity. With the ongoing conflicts of the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians just happening to be at the center of it all makes complete sense, especially when we connect it to the Bible. We know that in the last days, Christians will be persecuted. And it's also something to note that the Jewish and the Muslim Messiah literally matches up to the Christian Antichrist. So it turns out that Admiral Byrd was right all along, that
At least 10 people connected to top secret U.S. research have died or disappeared in recent years, sparking online conspiracy theories and even a federal investigation. But grieving friends and family are calling the speculation disgusting and discrediting the theories as absolute nonsense. So what do we actually know? While the missing people are often lumped together as scientists, the list actually includes a variety of people, including an administrative assistant, an Air Force general, a custodian, and an engineer. Their work spanning several fields, from researching exoplanets to pharmaceuticals. And while 10 deaths or disappearances may seem like a lot, science writer and investigator Mick West says that is not a statistical abnormality. The U.S. top secret cleared aerospace and nuclear workforce is approximately 700,000 people, West wrote. Ordinary mortality over 22 months predicts around 4,000 deaths, around 70 homicides, and around 180 suicides. Tap the link below to learn more about the missing individuals. At least 10 people.
This is where it gets weird. So this was launched 5 days after Gift Shop, and it's a whole separate campaign, No Children. It's promoting Balenciaga's ready-to-wear Spring 2023 collection, and it was shot and made in collaboration with Adidas. And at first, everyone was like, oh, thank God there's no children. So it's office wear, and it's a bunch of celebrities, Nicole Kidman, Bella Hadid, in New York City offices. And they look very like powerful women, and they've got like their legs up or they're sitting on a desk. It looks like Suits or something, you know, it looks like the set of like a girl boss show. So this is the first screenshot to go viral. And in the picture, there's the Balenciaga x Adidas hourglass bag. It's like a close-up. And the bag is laying on a desk, and there's like a bunch of papers under the bag to make it look like a messy office. Balenciaga was going to be under a freaking magnifying glass. People zoomed in, and what do you freaking know? The words Speech Coalition and pornography are some of the words that jumped out.
What?
So if you Google those words, the thing that was clear was Ashcroft v. Free Speech Coalition. The whole court case, this is the court case that made CP broaden its definitions. So basically it was argued that you should be able to write fictional or non-fictional stories about relations with minors and adults because that's free speech. Also, it included, hey, as long as there is no actual child victim, we should be able to do animations and sketches of stuff like that, like CP. They were also arguing that adults who looked young that pretended and put those videos out should be protected under free speech because, again, there's no child victim. So thankfully, the court was like, yeah, no, that's CP. So basically, this whole court case broadened the definition of CP. So they were like, yeah, that's not free speech, that's pedophilia. And they motioned against it. Some could argue maybe this is Balenciaga being like, no, shut up, the gift shop was edgy and free speech, right? Some thought it was a clapback. But that's what I thought, and I thought it would make sense, okay? This campaign was actually shot months before the gift shop. So that theory goes out the window, right? Not that it would excuse them, but that goes out the window. It's weird. This is where it gets weird. So this was launched 5 days after gift shop, and it's a whole separate campaign, No Children. It's promoting Balenciaga.
Ever been down the Paramount rabbit hole? Yeah, watch these 22 stars go and hover over the waters and then congregate over the Paramount. Para means what? Means breath. Breath means what? Well, breath means spirit, and it hovered over the waters in Genesis. So we have, count them, 22 stars, Paramount, paranormal mountain. What could be the paranormal mountain? Well, I'll tell you what, it's Mount Hermon. What's crazy is, in the book of Enoch, 200 angels fell on Mount Hermon and congregated, and there was 22 leaders that were named. Enoch chapter 6, and you can pause and read, but 200 angels, 22 of those were named, and these are all the angels that fell down and congregated at Mount Hermon to talk about how they were going to basically take over the world with unrighteousness. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'll give you the opportunity to pause and read all of this, because in Enoch chapter 6 through 10, there's some interesting things that I personally feel like speak to what's going on right now. And when it comes to stars, Revelation 9 talks about a star fell from heaven and he was given the key to the bottomless pit. And Revelation 9:11 talks about Apollyon. Mount Hermon means the mountain of the chief. What chief? Could it be that chief star that looked like lightning falling from heaven? Hey, Yeshua saw it. It's so funny that stars, falling stars, are referred to as angels and angels referred to as stars. And you got this Paramount with 22 of these named stars, and the name Hermon meaning devoted to destruction, and in German it means soldier. So this is the mountain of the chief, where 22 soldiers met to talk about destruction. And it's so weird that celebrities are called stars, and there's the Hollywood Walk of Fame with all of these stars that are named. I'm wondering if these fallen angels have inhabited bodies and taken over to bring more destruction to the earth, because it seems that Hollywood and the music industry, they all promote unrighteousness and ungodliness, and it's like they're trying to spread it across the world. And if this paramount is paying homage to this situation that happened in the book of Enoch, well, then that would have to mean that they know exactly what they are doing, and they're doing it on purpose. This is just the tip of the iceberg, because every 22 of these leader angels that are named, their names have meanings. They lead the 200 fallen angels that bring unrighteousness to the world. All the evil, the freaking magic, and all this crazy stuff that's going on. Superb owl, rituals, and all this creepy Masonic ritual. Oh, did you know that Mount Hermon is actually on the 33-degree north longitude? 33. Oh, and 1/3 of the angels fell with Lucifer, and 1/3 out of 100% just so happens to be 33.33%. This is just to get you started. Start going down this rabbit hole. Find out for yourself. Look, they know what they're doing. They're paying homage to these fallen angels because, hey, they might just be the fallen angels. So next time you see a falling star, don't wish upon it. Ever been down the Paramount rabbit hole?
It's the conspiracy theory that won't die down on the right. At least 10 people, some of whom we put on this board, who may have had ties to sensitive U.S. research died or disappeared in recent years.
Well, I hope it's random, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period.
The Republican-led House Oversight Committee now wants briefings from the FBI, NASA, the Department of Defense, Department of Energy, on about a dozen names. But is there actually a sinister connection? Most of them worked in different fields, and their cases vary widely. Some are unsolved homicides, some are missing persons cases with no signs of foul play. And in some cases, their deaths are not a mystery, like MIT professor Nuno F.G. Loureiro, who was shot and killed by the same person who also killed 2 people at the Brown University campus. That suspect later died by suicide. And Caltech astrophysicist Carl Grillmeyer, who the LA County Sheriff's Office believes was killed by a stranger who was also charged with a burglary and carjacking elsewhere the same day. Some of them, however, disappeared with really no explanation or any known connection with each other. William Neal McCaslin, a retired Air Force Major General who was at the center of some of the Pentagon's most advanced aerospace research, he hasn't been seen since he walked out of his Albuquerque, New Mexico home on February 27th. Also in New Mexico, Anthony Chavez, a retired building foreman, and Melissa Cassius, reportedly an administrative assistant. They both worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory, a leading nuclear research facility. They disappeared last year without a trace, and authorities tell me those are still active open cases. Former U.S. Air Force intelligence officer Matthew James Sullivan died before he could testify in a federal whistleblower case about UFOs, according to U.S. Representative Eric Burleson. I talked to the daughter of one scientist, Michael David Hicks, who worked for NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory for nearly 25 years. His daughter said he had known medical conditions, and she's the one who found him when he passed.
I just know he is rolling in his grave, knowing that his name is going around being involved in something like this.
So while some family and close friends are shrugging this off, others, like Chavez's best friend, tell me it's about time for a federal investigation, hoping for some answers and closure. It's the conspiracy
This is all alleged and for education and entertainment purposes only. Is Himalayan sea salt actually giant flesh? Allegedly.
What?
Fallen angels that came down.
Yep.
They mated with human women.
Nephilim. Yep.
The Nephilim.
Yep.
These giants. But not just, I guess apparently there's like different types of giants. You have like the Titans. You have the giants that were like Goliath, that was maybe like mid-sized giant, but there were huge giants. And when I say that, like not like human, like 9 feet tall human, like you're like, wow, that's this is like, think of a mountain, and that is a giant.
Yes.
When God started to notice all of the crazy things these giants were doing, now they, I guess, went off the handle. They were doing these crazy things, like allegedly eating each other, eating like humans, just doing awful things, and then they got kind of bored with the humans, and then they were like mating with animals, so then they were like hybrid type.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So God was like, what is going on? He ordered his angels down to cut down. There were giant trees that reached the heavens because these are hybrid beings, right? Part human, part from a different realm, and obviously evil, demonic things. Cut down these trees, so these mass formations all around the world that everyone says these are mountains, but they're actually big tree trunks that were chopped down. Now,
Devil's Tower
was what, like 900 years old? Like his grandfather was like 600 years old. It was something like that. And because of these massive trees giving off all of this like rich oxygen. So then that's where they're saying all of these animals, like not dinosaurs, but like dragons and insects, were very large because they have this massive amount of oxygen. God orders the angels to come and cut those trees down, floods the earth. Could that be why all of these land masses of ginormous mountains look like actual beings? Now they say there's like a name for it. It starts with a P, pareidolia, where it's like your mind is, you're like, yeah. It's like, oh, that looks like a phase, but it's not a phase. It's just your little brain playing a little tricksy on you, but it's not. Like it is. Like it looks like these giants. This is all alleged and for education and entertainment purposes. I
was trying to tell you.
This is the new conspiracy theory I've been cooking up for the past about 15 seconds. I just watched a video of this lady take her parents to Portugal and then fly to Turkey, and they did like a full body scan. Saw a urologist, gynecologist.
So I had literally just posted a video about how I think that the rolling back of mass market paperbacks is a subtle attempt to remove public literature and accessible literature from the public sphere. And then I saw a video of a man saying how the e-versions, the Kindle versions of different books, and the one that he was talking about specifically, Pretty Little Liars, had changed some incredibly fundamental, culturally significant references in the books. For example, instead of watching Fear Factor like the original early 2000s books stated, the girls were going to go home to watch TikTok. Now, obviously, this is a change that's only being seen in the online version, the e-versions of these books. But how incredibly insidious is it that it is like you would not even necessarily notice that unless you had read them. And then even then, your brain might not pick up on it. And it made me realize, what is the purpose of doing that? Why would you change that? It can't just be to maintain cultural relevancy, because anybody, even if you don't know what Fear Factor is, that's not an important part of what they went home to do. Like, that doesn't matter. So why would you change it? Why would you include TikTok and Doja Cat and Snapchat? There's no reason to add current culturally significant references to a book from the early 2000s. That's not how literature works. And then I realized if they're doing this with low stakes, low level media, they can and have and will do this with high stakes media, history books, textbooks, documentaries, anything that they can get their grubby little hands on online is susceptible to being changed under your very nose. And it is for that reason I think it is incredibly important that we maintain large collections of physical media. So go out, go buy your favorite books, go buy textbooks, go buy anything that you can grab hold of and maintain it, because there will not be another burning of the Library of Alexandria if A, there is no library, or B, the library is so dispersed that we are all protecting a piece of it. So
That's an interesting theory. And I do keep a lot of paperbacks, so...
A reporter at
Listen, our government, big oil, they're up to something. Dude, I don't have time to listen to one of your conspiracy theories right now. No. Is it a conspiracy theory if it's true? Because think about it, the past 6 out of 7 times, I was right on these conspiracy theories. I hate that I don't have a counter to that. Conspiracy theories have been getting W's lately. Go on. They're watering down the gas. What? We all know that gas prices have been insane lately, but these oil companies, they're getting greedy, they're colluding with the government, they're watering down the gas to maximize their profits. Do you know anything about cars, engines? If you water down gas, you'll have complete engine failure. And they're using a synthetic chemical to thin it out or something. Oh, come on. No, I used to get aroused at gas stations smelling the gas. You do that now at a gas station, you don't smell gas. Well, that's... Huh. Yeah, I haven't really smelled gas lately. Oh, but I'm not done yet. I set a trip on my odometer when I had a full tank. My car's range is 350 miles. Empty tank, I only went 275. You probably were driving in a lot of traffic or accidentally left your car idling or something. Nope. Think about it. It's shrinkflation. They're doing it in every other industry. Higher prices, less product. Why not gas? The biggest of them all. Oh, no, that's ridiculous. Those motherfuckers. Listen, our government, big oil.
Do we just like skip over the fact that he said he gets aroused by the smell of gas? Oh my God.
I would watch for Barron, because here's the thing. There's also another book called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Ingersoll Lockwood wrote this book too in the late 1800s, depicting this character.
When they picked those same names.
Yes.
Barron Trump.
Barron Trump. That is a book. Yes. Ingersoll Lockwood wrote both these books. Right?
In the 1800s.
Yes. I believe it was like 1893, 1896, something like that.
Then there has to be time travelers.
Well, here's the thing. In the book, Barron Trump is a time traveler. No bullshit. All this is in the book, you guys.
I love when you hear someone.
And guess what? So he time travels, right? He has a mentor named Don. This is in the book. So, here's the theory. That Trump actually has some type of time travel technology only because Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, worked for the FBI. Now, when Nikola Tesla died, they sent him in because he's a scientist, he's a physicist, engineer, smart guy. So they were like, hey, go in to Nikola Tesla's, room and decipher all his works and whatnot. Because, Nikola Tesla discovered free energy and a multitude of things, right? So Donald Trump's uncle goes in there and says, we didn't find anything. A bunch of BS. You don't think that Nikola Tesla, who had discovered free energy and manipulated electromagnetism, which had that you can, in theory, bend time, light, and space, this man's works was confiscated by him and he didn't find anything?
My own personal opinion. I want to know what you guys think.
This might be the most ridiculous.
If what they're saying that Amy Esker is mysteriously discovered before she died is true, then we are cooked. We all know that Amy Esker is just one of those scientists that is now dead. She was connected to advanced aerospace research, and now her name is being tied to one of the most disturbing alien theories out there. And what I'm about to say might scare you, but maybe this is the reason she's not here right now. The theory says that what people think are aliens might not be aliens. They may actually be humans from the future. You heard what I just said? Not visitors from another planet, not creatures from another galaxy. Aliens that we think are aliens may be humans from the future. So according to the theory, there are future human groups called P-47s and P-52s, meaning they're humans from tens of thousands of years ahead. The claim is that some catastrophic event forces humanity underground for thousands of years, and after that long time without sunlight, humans will supposedly, allegedly evolve differently. Pale skin, smaller bodies, no hair. And what does that sound like? The same description that people have been given of great aliens for decades. And that's why this theory is hitting people so hard, because it flips the whole alien conversation upside down. It says maybe they're not coming from outer space. Maybe they're coming from what happens to us later on. We have about 15 scientists missing in the United States. They also said that 9 scientists were either missing or deceased in China. What's really going on? They know something. Pay attention. If what
I know TikTok loves conspiracy theories, so riddle me this. How come every single person who has blonde hair and blue eyes is considered to be an untouchable? Name one person who has blonde hair and blue eyes that's ever been canceled, had allegations against them, or anything that would be against their nature. Think about this right here. Brown-eyed people. Drake is highly successful. We all know about that, right? But there's allegations against him about whatever. Oh, he was part of the XXXTentacion. He was part of this, he was part of that. You can name so many people who've been canceled that have brown eyes. Oh, don't get me started on the green-eyed people. The green-eyed people are always people spinning out of control. Look at the Lindsay Lohan compared to the Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is the one who influenced Lindsay Lohan to go to all of these parties. They didn't cancel Paris Hilton for destroying her best friend's life. We just blame Lindsay Lohan for having green eyes and red hair and freckles. Of all of the celebrities in the world who has blonde hair and blue eyes, who's ever been canceled in the entirety, bro. In the entirety, you cannot name not one. I know TikTok loves
Huh. All right.